Good morning, everyone. So this morning's one a day is the number one key to feeling young at any age. Now, I know that most of you may not believe that because right now 92% of the population has autoimmune disease, and that would basically mean that almost the whole population isn't feeling that good right now, and they're not feeling that young. But the reality is you can be young at any age. And understand something. It's all got to do with flow. Okay, so we're talking about energy flow. Okay, we're talking about your spirit energy. Okay, we're talking about what scientists would call your aura or your field. And you have to understand something. We are a spiritual being having a physical experience. You know, you cannot say that your body, you are not your body. You are the energy that's in your body and all around your body. You know, our energy actually will come out about 5 feet around us. Do you ever stand really close to someone, or someone stood close to you behind you and you could feel them in your energy? You could actually, your hair was standing up on end. Well, that's our energy field. So understand, everything is about flow. The higher the energy is, the higher the frequency is, the more you're going to heal, the quicker you're going to heal. Now understand something. Okay, so everything is about flow. So if the blood doesn't flow, it stagnates. Okay, so if the lymph doesn't flow, look at lymphedema, look at lymphoma. It's all going through the roof, and that's because people don't have flow anymore. They don't go with the flow. Okay, all right. They're fighting against themselves and fighting against everything else. So let's understand this. The slower the flow of energy, the slower the flow of blood and lymph, that means the more physical blocks that you have within your body. Okay, so understand this. There is only one disease on this planet, okay? And that is called an energy block. You got it. So first thing is everything always starts as an energy block, not as a physical block. Because thought, okay, otherwise image creates thought. Thought creates what? Emotion. Emotion creates frequency. The frequency then dumps the chemicals from the chemist called your brain. And then that creates the physical, whether it's a healing or whether you're making yourself sick. Okay, because you have to be sick of mind before you're sick of body. You have to be healthy of mind before you'll ever be healthy of body. That's why so many cancer patients don't get well. It's not even the physical disease. It's the invisible disease of fear that they're feeling, the anxiety continually dripping out this acidity, which creates more physical blocks and feeds that one physical block, usually that's called a tumor. So understand something. What did I say? There's only one disease, and that's called an energy block. Okay, so that means that we don't actually get stiff as we get old, okay? All right? We don't get stiff. We have energy blocks. So if you looked at everything in your body that you couldn't move like you could move when you were younger, wouldn't that tell you that that it's not stiff? There's blocks in there. So that means the actual scar tissue, the connective tissue, is becoming like beef jerky, stiff, dry, old. Okay, because it's dehydrating, because of the inflammation. Calcium's being pulled into the joints, into the tissues, making them stiff. Crystallization is forming, okay, because of the lactic acid and because you're always stressed out, dumping acid into your body. So, yes, you do get stiff, but these are all small physical blockages, first caused from an energy blockage, because you have to have an emotional blockage before you have a physical blockage. Okay, so where do the main blockages happen? They happen in your elbows. They happen in your hands. They happen in your knees. They happen in your ankles, your hips, and your spine. Those are the main areas. So understand something. The key here is to have the flexibility back in your life, in your mind, and in your body. So you've got to get rid of the scar tissue. You've got to get rid of the crystallization and the calcium. But understand, these are all river bends. If I was throwing garbage into a river, where would it collect but on the river bend? So your elbow, your shoulder, your hands, your wrists, your ankles, your knees, your hips, these are all river bends. And that's where the garbage collects. And when that collects, that is like sandpaper, and that works away on your joints, like whether it's your elbow, whether it's your shoulder, knee, or hip. And then we look at hip replacements. You know, the whole world out there is all based on replacements now. It's all about convenience, and surgery is not a convenient thing to do. So understand, so we know that the garbage is all collecting in the joints of the body, which are the river bends. Now, chronic diseases and autoimmune diseases are complex diseases. Now, what am I saying? Well, when you look at somebody and somebody says, "Okay, I have diabetes." Well, first thing you think about is you think about their pancreas, correct? Well, you cannot help a diabetic by only focusing on their pancreas, because the problem is not trying to balance their blood sugar levels. The problem is trying to reduce the inflammation that caused the diabetes in the first place. So we always need to look at that, and to reduce the inflammation, we want to do that on an emotional level, but then we've got to go in there and reduce all the physical blocks. Did you know when you have an autoimmune disease or you have cancer, you've got 20 to 30 blocks throughout your whole body? Not just that one tumor, not just that diabetes, that one organ. You've got all kinds of blocks everywhere. Ask anybody with a chronic disease, and they're going to say, okay, so I've got about 8 places that I know of right now that I'm in pain. And then as we start to get rid of those places, the ones that aren't as much in pain will start to show as the ones that they are. It's like if we have a room full of kids and they're all screaming, the loudest kid we're going to hear. But as soon as the loudest kid, we get them to be quiet, the next kid would be the loudest. So this is how symptoms work and when we go to get well. But we got to get rid of all those physical blocks within the body. We must focus on whole body healing. And you cannot have whole body healing by working on one block. We got to get rid of all 20 or 30. Now, the population is never going, well, maybe they might believe me in 5 to 10 years, but there has to be someone in every family that knows how to do Wolfe Non-Surgical or Wolfe Deep Tissue. This is why we teach this all over the world. We're trying to teach families. I'm trying to tell you that if you spent a week with us, you would not have to go looking for practitioners, because you'd have the best of the best. And I can promise that. Okay, because it's all a scar tissue issue. It's all calcium issue. It's all crystallization. So this is what causes the problem. So when joints are healthy and when joints are healthy and tendons, ligaments, and muscles are flexible, there will be smooth and powerful blood flow with increased energy and temperature in the body. When your temperature comes down, you feel cold all the time. When you don't have energy, these are all because you're blocked up emotionally and physically throughout your body, okay? So understand something. Wolfe Non-Surgical removes the blocks by activating the energy. Because you have to understand, when we go in and we use our elbow with a specialized technique and pull the fibers apart, the blood flow comes in, the lymph flow, the energy flow. So that brings up the temperature to melt the crystallization. Okay, and then that helps to carry away the small calcium particles. Then we put you on SAC calcium that helps to pull the calcium back into the bones. You could be in your 80s and have the worst stiff body, and I'll tell you right now that we can turn that around completely, and you can feel 30 again. Okay, and I know that people don't want to believe this because they haven't seen it, but it's the God's truth. So if we got doing the Wolfe Non-Surgical, Wolfe Deep Tissue, and got you on the SAC calcium, and you embraced the perfect day diet, and you also braced fasting, then we know we're going to win. The human body's so amazing at healing itself, okay? So if you increase energy, you increase circulation, which then increases the temperature, which melts things, which turns on the self-healing process of the body, okay? So understand something. When you feel a pain in your body, you know you have a blockage there. Did you get that? Pain equals blockage. Now, pain is your GPS, so don't make pain your enemy, okay? Just know that the more pain you're in, the more ignorant you are of the fact that pain is your friend. You've made it your enemy, so you have ignored it. And if you ignore and push things away, they push back at you very hard until you get injured, okay? All right, so pain is medicine. When you become the master of your body and realize that self-healing is the only healing, you'll get it. But right now, it's just a selfish act. And we're supposed to go out and heal everyone else. Or like that's ever worked. I mean, a doctor can't even heal himself, less heal anybody else, okay? You can't heal yourself until you become self-aware about self-care and self-love. So let's get back to pain. Pain is your protector. Pain is an accurate diagnosis. It's the best diagnosis in the world. If you're in pain, you're in trouble. Okay, where there's pain, there's disease. All right, so you need to understand that. And the majority believe that living in pain is a normal way of life, but in reality, pain helps us create a better life when you make pain your protector and not your enemy. So pain is my protector. When it says, Daryl, okay, here's a little indication here. Okay, fine, too many shortbread cookies, too much alcohol, or I'm working way too hard. I need to get connected to my breath or go do my pelvic expansion exercises, or just chill out, or I need to hydrate more. Listen to your body. It's talking to you. Don't get divorced from your body, because that's a life and death situation, okay? It's like any other relationship. Don't listen to your body, you're going to be in big trouble, okay? Very important relationship, all right? Okay, so let's understand this too. Your skeletal system and your muscles, okay, are your largest endocrine system in the body. And this is why everybody is out of hormonal balance. This is why we're giving, everybody's on different types of prescriptions for their hormones, and they're taking different kinds of herbs for their hormones. And that's because you're so damn messed up in your muscles and your joints. Now, when I say that, I'm talking about the calcium that gets caught in there, the crystallization, the scar tissue, you know, the tendons, the ligaments, and they're starting to become like dried beef jerky shoelaces. You know, they need to be flexible, all right? And the tissues, if you don't have microcirculation, and microcirculation takes up 76% of the body's circulation. It's the microcirculation that it shuts down when you find pain or disease in any part of the body. It's not your veins, not your arteries, it's the microcirculation. So you want to get that up and going, or else your cells are going to be in trouble, okay? All right, so let's move on. I want to talk about tumors a little bit. A tumor is a nutritional energy block. Do you get this? So what it's trying to do is, a tumor is trying to block the nutrition to get to the healthier tissues. Okay, the tumor also will steal the nutrition for itself. People don't think so, but it does. It'll eat up your nutrition. So, and it'll take it from you. Even though it lives off lactic acid, has its own blood supply, right? And understand this, okay? So a tumor is an energy block that steals your nutrition and stops it from getting to the surrounding tissues, because it wants to choke off the surrounding tissues long enough and strong enough. So if you can decrease the oxygen in normal tissues by about 33% for an extended period, you can actually cause the mutation to occur. So there, you cannot starve cells of oxygen or nutrition, but oxygen mainly. All right. So the first step when you're dealing with someone with a tumor, or somebody with a cancer, or somebody with an autoimmune disease, is not to go out and attack the disease. Bring down the inflammation first. Okay. So we'll find that when somebody says, hey, I want you to come and do a personal treatment and training on me and my family. I want to learn how to do all of this, because I want to take fibroids apart. I want, my wife, she has a bad back, and you could fix it in a minute. I mean, you could. Eventually, you will be able to do that, because practice makes you perfect. And I promise that you are perfect already. Okay, so now, whether no matter what the disease is, whether it's cancer or an autoimmune disease or what it is, we can't go in and work on breaking up the beef jerky, the crystallization, and removing the calcium deposits so they'll go back into the bones until we reduce the inflammation enough. If you get somebody who has, let's say, an autoimmune disease or cancer, and they're like freaked out, like high anxiety. Okay, so understand, fear causes anxiety, and after a while you have so much anxiety you go into depression. That's all it is, guys. So so the big thing would be to catch it when it's at fear before it's anxiety and then depression. Because you have to go into depression, because if you don't, you're going to create a tumor in your brain from stressing the hell out. Okay, so now, whether you have autoimmune disease, whether you have cancer, whatever the disease is, first step is to get rid of the inflammation, not to go in and pull everything apart. Because if somebody has high inflammation, then they're stressed right out. Their immune system's going to be low. So if I start to pull a fibroid apart, or I go in and I work on and pull a whole knee apart, if this person's already exhausted from the inflammation that they've created for themselves, then the body can't heal that anyway. So this is why we always want people to look at doing the perfect day diet, maybe do a carrot juice, water juice fast. You know, let's bring the fire down, okay? So bring the fire down, you can bring the healing up. So that first step is eliminate the inflammation. Second step, okay, here it is. Lovingly pull the fibers apart surrounding the fibroid, the tumor, the adhesion, or that joint, or the spine, doesn't matter where it is. You start to encircle it and then start pulling things gently apart. You know, you'll actually, the client, patient you're working on they'll hear cracking, snapping, not of bones, trust me. It's just the crystallization and the scar tissue. They'll actually hear the scar tissue. And as we pull it apart, they'll feel the warmth come back in, the blood come back in, the circulation, the energy, the temperature will go up, okay? Every physical block is causing cell death. You need to get this. So now we're gonna lovingly go in and start to pull this apart. Third step, dissolve the scar tissue by turning it back into beautiful connective tissue. Once you bring the vibration up and you bring the circulation up to just so far, there's enough life there that it just takes scar tissue in an instant and makes it into beautiful connective tissue. I'm not making this up. I mean, I can show it over and over again. Okay, so what we want to do is dissolve the scar tissue and make it back. It's not like it's going to be breaking up and going in your bloodstream. The exact same scar tissue that's giving you all that trouble, once we get the blood flow and the lymph flow and we bring the temperature up, it automatically, like I said, turns back into beautiful connective tissue. And because crystallization, it melts as the temperature comes up, it just melts away and your body carries it away through your lymph system bloodstream. And the calcium, little calcium particles get loosened. We like to have people on SAC calcium, and I will tell you, like I said, you can be in your 80s and you could have been on Fosamax and your bones are crumbling, and within 9 months to a year, if you did the SAC calcium 4 times a day, that person is going to reverse their bone structure to like about a 35-year-old person. And we've seen this thousands of times, so it's not like I'm just making this up. All right, so the fourth step, okay, return all displaced calcium to the bones, like I just said, okay? Understand, as long as we feed the unhealthy part of the body, we cannot heal the healthy part of the body. So what are we talking about here? Well, wherever the disease is in the body, yeah, that'll concern me, it'll concern anyone. But the reality is you must look at the whole body as a whole. You've got to go to the large intestine first, then go into the liver, get them to do coffee enemas, and the sooner you can get food away from them, The digestive tract needs to go on a highway, on a holiday, so that the body will release, okay, stem cells and go into autophagy, so that it goes in and starts eating up all the disease cells, and the ones that decide they don't want to change back into nice, friendly cells, they will be eaten up. So as long as you're eating when you're sick, and getting your digestive tract really working all the time, you're never going to get well. So that's why you need somebody like me. And it doesn't have to be me, but just find somebody that has done it enough and get a coach. If you want to get well, you have to have a coach. Okay, I always have a coach. My coaches change. I should not be your coach forever. Okay, you should be moving up and up and up and even bypass me, right? Okay, so here, let's get back to this now. So understand, as long as we feed the unhealthy part of the body, we cannot heal. So do not just focus on the disease. Focus on the whole body healing. Like I always go in and take a look at how a person's emotions are. Okay, that's first and foremost. Anyways, so let's keep moving. Understand physical blocks are energy blocks. You got that already. An unhealthy body is an inflamed body. Say that. An unhealthy body is an inflamed body. So people that are sick, their whole body's on fire, okay? So we have the tumor, or where the disease is, and that's kind of like the beacon of inflammation, right? Okay, but the reality is that if you have a disease, you're inflamed everywhere. So like I said, we want to go everywhere, start cleaning things up, all right? So how do you get rid of a chunk of ice? Well, you raise the temperature and you melt the ice, and that's what happens to us, okay? All right, so we need to do Wolfe Non-Surgical. Take a look at the perfect day and look at fasting for perfect health, everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. Let me tell you something. The rules that will turn a cancer patient around and a person with autoimmune disease is the same rules that I live by. Because why wouldn't I do what gets you well and just keep doing that, okay? We don't have to do it at the intensity that we did at the beginning, because we've created a more stronger foundation. But that needs to become part of your life. I mean, so many people will go and do what we say and then go back to their old life. I don't blame them, because nobody else changed in the house. And that's part of the family curse, all right? So here's the deal. So let's pull the fibers apart, whether we are talking about arthritis, a knee replacement, hip replacement, spinal surgery, fibroid, tumor. It's all the same. Pull them apart, raise the temperature, raise the vibration, increase the flow, and things will melt, and invisible bonds will disappear. These invisible bonds that bind us will disappear. Because I already told you yesterday, none of this stuff will show up on x-ray, but I can guarantee you that I can get you to feel it when I go in there and say, you're gonna go, my God, that fibroid's so big. And you'll say, yeah, but it doesn't even show up on x-ray. Go figure. So, understand this, resistance causes pressure. So the more blocks you have, the more pressure you're gonna feel in your body, the more anxiety you're gonna have. You must get rid of physical blocks to help to get rid of the pinball effect of emotional blocks, right? Because energy flow stopped or detoured is going to cause resistance in the human body. When blockages open up though, when you open up a blockage and we get in there and we do the Wolfe Non-Surgical or Wolfe Deep Tissue, the symptoms will arise, okay? You'll have symptoms. It could be like feeling a little feverish, a little bit sweaty, you know, or just even seeing visions of things that happened years and years ago, because in every blockage in the human body is an emotional trauma, drama, or something that could not be digested, that had to be stored until you consciously grew and were able to actually deal with the emotion. So the body said, I'm going to store this and protect you because I think it might kill you on an emotional level, right? So that's what the subconscious does. All right, so, but never forget, adhesions, tumors, fibroids, calcium deposits, they're all nutritional energy blocks. They're stopping things from getting where they need to get to. That's the only reason why people get old. I mean, I know I'm gonna get older in my face to a degree, and well, of course, I'm gonna, you know, by the time I'm 85, I'll look like an 85-year-old healthy man, and that's what you want to be. Whether, you know, whether I'm 85 or whether I'm 65 or whether I'm 5 years old, there's a little child inside of me that wants to play every day and doesn't want to be a miserable grandpa or a miserable husband, or, you know, like my grandmother used to say, oh, Daryl, don't let them bother you. They're, you know what? They're not grumpy. They're just constipated. And that's the way we all get when we're older. Well, let's try not to go there. Okay, so never forget, though, like I said, that adhesions, tumors, fibroids, calcium deposits are all energy blocks, and we've got to get rid of them. We must take them apart, or they will take our body apart by stealing the nutrition and blocking the nutrition and oxygen to healthy cells, and then the healthy cells will be jammed up with toxins. That's how it works, right? So for healing to take place, we must transform the scar tissue back into connective tissue. We must melt the crystallization as if it never existed, and we must return the displaced calcium to the bone. That's it. So never forget that a tumor is like a chunk of ice. So how do you get rid of it? Raise the temperature, raise the vibration, raise the flow. That's it. Doesn't matter whether it's a pimple, boil, tumor, they're all the same thing. It's just that one thing's been ignored much longer, and that person has abused themselves much longer and stronger. Remember something, all your beliefs that you have, you feed them every day. They're alive. And if those beliefs are not positive and dipped in total unconditional love for you, they will turn into an entity. And from you feeding that negative belief for so long, you won't be feeding it. It will be feeding off of you, and it will take your life down. So never forget this. Who designed the self-healing system? Well, God, your creator, source. That's why it's flawless when you decide to take massive action with self-care, fueled by self-love. Total self-love, guys. So understand this. Today and every day, I will protect, respect, love, and honor myself first and foremost before anyone else or anything else. So help me God, so that I do not hurt another or hurt myself. All right? Have a beautiful day. Don't forget that we're releasing the A to Z masterclass, wellness masterclass, to 1,000 people on New Year's Eve, and then people can sign up. But those 1,000 people can come in and take a look at all the videos. But by the 8th of January, we'll have everything up in there. The A to Z guide, all the questionnaires, and that's the big kickoff on the 8th, where anybody can sign up. And guys, it's $4.99 a month, so that's it. So see if you've got that in your budget, and you're not one of the 1,000. hey, what do you got to lose? I guarantee you I'm going to give you some really great information. All right. Have a beautiful day. Have a happy Sunday. I'm going to go back to writing the A to Z guide so that it is done and everything else is up in there by January the 8th. And like I said, today's the best day of your life until tomorrow. So make it a good one. And remember something, everything is just a thought and you can't hold it, but it's still the most powerful thing you'll ever have. All right. Have a beautiful day.